happy Sunday, folks. Most importantly, happy Easter. And this is 313 Grill & Kitchen. I'm Patrick, and I'd like to welcome you to today's show. Today is our Easter special, but I hope that you're all having a wonderful day, and I know that we're in the middle of this virus pandemic, and I know it's hard that we can't be with our own families today, but we're going to try to make it as fun as we can for all of you to enjoy. So what we're doing today on our Easter special, folks, is we're cooking up a delicious ham, homemade rolls, and I'm going to refresh you on our favorite potato casserole and my grandma's, now it's infamous in our house, my grandma's sweet and sour green beans. So the first thing you're going to do, we're going to get our ham ready. You know, I wish we could make a homemade ham from scratch, but let me show you what kind of ham we're going to use for our purposes for today. This is our ham. It's just a regular ham we got from the grocery store, you know, a spiral ham. If I can get my tripod. This is the ham that we're going to use special thanks courtesy for Food Life for supplying the ham. And the best thing you want to cook this ham is we like to cook it, and we'll get it prepped in just a second, but you want to cook it this side up, and you want to cover it with tin foil. Now the ham has already got its juices and everything on it, so it is recommended not to put the juices on the ham. I typically do not do any salt or pepper of any kind onto the ham, because that juice that will come out of it will basically be in here, and you can use that for your broth. And one of the things that this comes with too, which I've never tried, we're going to follow instructions to do a brown sugar glaze. So what we're going to do with this after the fact it cooks is we're going to make this and to cover it, and we'll have to read them the instructions on how to make this glaze for the ham. But the key thing is to do with the aimed ham is you're going to set your oven to 325, and we want to cook this 10 to 12 minutes per pound. Now, this ham that we bought, courtesy Food Line, is 11 pounds. So I'm going to give it about maybe 2 to 2.5 hours for it to cook. And this should be it. It's a traditional Easter dinner we have in our household, the ham. And I hope that you will enjoy it too on this special episode, on this Easter edition. So, with that said, let's get it ready for baking. So what I'm going to do is come over here to watch my preparation of the Easter ham. I'm going to take off the wrapping. Now there are other preferences of ham that you do. You could put it on the grill, you could put it in the crock pot, which we would like to try at least sometime. And one thing I like to do is we're going to smoke it sometime. Of course, if you want to smoke it, you want to buy a regular ham without any flavorings. If you want the apple or hickory flavor, go ahead and get it in place. And this has already been sliced, so this will be easy, which will be a good way to get prepared after we take it out of the oven. Alright. I hope that all of you are having a terrific Easter. It's hard to believe we already made it to Easter in the year 2020. Alright. Next thing that we want to do, folks, turn it over here. Actually, put it over here. We're going to go ahead and prep it for oven. Simple, just put your tin foil over it. Just like that. Try to cover as much as you can. trying to cover this up as good as I can because the ham is shaped a little differently than what I'm primarily used to. Let's take it this way. There we go. We'll leave it as that. Alright, we'll put it in our oven. Get this put in. I'm going to put it, let's rearrange. Now, I like to cook it on the bottom rack, so if it doesn't work, you may want to try to rearrange the oven, put it in there close as you can. Alright, so there we go. Now, we just monitor the ham. We're going to let it cook for about 2 to 2.5 hours. And coming up next, we're going to make sweet and sour green beans. I'll refresh you on that. And we're also going to do potato casserole and a homemade roll dish I premiered about a couple of weeks ago on Facebook that I'm now going to share the world with you. So coming up, straight from our kitchen at 313 Grill. Don't want to miss it. Okay friends, welcome back. We just checked on our ham and it's smelling really good. We're getting close to time. So what we're going to do now, folks, you remember a while back, a couple of episodes back, or probably sometime last year, we made potato casserole. This is also another hit in my household, and I think you're going to like it too. So we're going to repeat the recipe again if you want to try it, or you may have forgotten it, but we're going to do it again. So the first thing you want to do, folks, is we're going to heat your oven to 350. Our oven is set to 350. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to take a stick of butter. I'm going to take a stick of butter. We're going to go ahead and soften it, get it melted. Next thing you want to do is you want to take a 13 by 9 baking dish you see right here. And we are going to go ahead and get that sprayed down with some Pam. So that way this casserole won't stick to the bottom. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a regular bag, 32-ounce bag of diced potatoes. And that matter to any brand, but we picked Ore-Ida because Ore-Ida is a good brand. We do like Ore-Ida. So, we are going to go ahead and put that into a regular mixing bowl. We'll let that set aside for a minute. We're going to take some onions, and I've already diced them up. You want to do 1 diced onion, cut up into pieces. Try to get what we could do. Alright, now we're going to take our stick of butter that we just melted, put it on in there just like that. Take a can of cream of chicken soup. You want to put that in there. Next thing, jar of Cheese Whiz or Cheese Dip, whatever brand the grocery store, your local grocery store has. You get a spoon so we can stir all this together. Get a good big spoon for the salt. Add that in. The next thing you're going to need, folks, is a 16-ounce jar of sour cream. It could be either regular or light. Whatever you prefer works for you. Alright, we're also going to add some salt and pepper for taste. I'm going to give a little bit of pepper, but not too much. Now, I'm going to give this a good and complete stir, and you want to get all of these rich flavors, everything combined. Maybe what I like to do with the potatoes is I usually put it in the fridge for about maybe 2 hours to thaw it out a little bit. Don't want to thaw it out too much, but enough to be able to break down and get all of this mixture mixing with the potatoes as much as you can. that go. Now we're going to let that sit for just another minute. We're going to melt another stick of butter, and I'll show you why. While this is melting, we're going to go ahead and make our topping. We're going to go ahead and combine all these together. You want to put this all in your baking dish, and you want to flatten out as much as you can onto this dish. Your baking dish, that is. Alright, now take some corn flakes. Let me take some corn flakes. We're going to make our topping for the casserole. I like to use is 2 cups of corn flakes. Move that out of the way. Alright, now I'm going to take our melted butter. We're going to go ahead, as you see here, we're going to go ahead and make our topping. That looks so delicious right there, doesn't it? Without spilling any crumbs, we're going to mix the corn flakes and the butter together. And now we're going to just spread out as a round. And I'm going to take that. This, for some reason, let's try to spread out a. Now, if you're a little short on corn flakes, you can always take some and just kind of add a little extra to get it evenly spread for your dish. So we're going to take a little bit extra, and that's okay if it's not any butter, because there's butter that's already with it will combine more with these flavors that aren't. Alright, so there's our casserole. We're going to put that in the oven and we're going to let it bake for 1 hour. Alright, so folks, I'm going to get cleaned up and then we're going to get ready to our next thing. So stick a minute. I'll be right back. Alright folks, here's our next little update. We got the famous sweet and sour green beans recipe that has been a big hit in my house now, which was made famous by my grandmother. The ham is getting near completion, which means we got to do the last step. Because we got a 2-side oven, we got the potato casserole in the oven, which is cooking nicely, we got the ham in the oven, we have to make some rolls. And so the ham's getting near done, so we're going to take the ham out, we're going to put rolls in, which we're going to bake another 10 minutes or so. I found this recipe a couple of weeks ago, which I debuted on Facebook Live. 4 ingredients, easy dinner rolls. Milk, flour, and mayonnaise. That's right, milk, flour, mayonnaise. 3 simple ingredients to make delicious dinner rolls that will melt, are warm, will make your mouth delicious, and rolls the best you ever made. And we're going to add a little bit of butter in it to give it that buttery flavor that you would find in rolls. If you go out to dinner, there's no butter in them, you add butter. We're going to add a little bit of butter in there to give it some flavor. So the first thing we're going to do is you're going to need your ingredients. Easiest ingredients to remember. If I get my camera, I'm having some technical problems with the camera right now. You're going to need 2 cups of self-rising flour. You're going to need, oh, I had a little too much of that. You're going to need 1 cup of milk of any kind. And you're going to need 4 tablespoons of mayonnaise. Any kind of mayonnaise. That's right, 4 tablespoons of mayonnaise. Never thought you'd hear that in rolls, don't you? Alright, there's our tablespoons of mayonnaise. Now, I'm going to add a little bit of butter. We can give it that nice buttery flavor. Don't want to add too much of it because it's all going to melt in when it's in the oven anyway. Alright. Now, I'm going to give this all a complete stir, and you want your mixture to be nice and thick. Self-rising flour is actually easy to use because it has all your salt, baking powder, and baking soda, and whatever is needed for breads. And you want to make sure when you do this, you want to get all the flour out so you won't eat any hints of bread at the table. Alright, so we got to go on the next thing. We want to grease a muffin dish because these will make about 12 rolls. And the reason why we're taking the ham out is because we got to bake these in the oven at 350 for at least 12 to 15 minutes. So what I'm doing is I'll move out of the way and I'll let you see exactly what I'm doing. Is I'm going to go ahead and put these into the muffin pan to make our rolls. I always want to spray ham at the bottom. Now look at this, folks. This is going to be delicious. And if you come down with a little bit of extra dough, you can always just top it off if you do become too low on it. I'm going to add a little extra in some of these that have Here we go, folks. This is our easy. Now, before we get this in the oven, we're going to go ahead and get our ham out and make sure it's all looking spick and spanky. And then we're going to bump the oven up to 350. Ooh, it smells good, folks. It smells really, really delicious. Yeah. All right. I'm going to bump that up just a degree notch. Alright, so now I'm going to take this out. I'm going to go ahead and bump this up to 350. Like I said, we're going to give these about 12 to 15 minutes. And while those are in here, let's go ahead and find out how our ham looks. Ooh, that looks good, folks. Look at that. That looks delicious. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and heat up our glaze. Which, if you have a glaze around, you can make, feel free to, but we're going to use what came with it. It's a brown sugar glaze. And I'll heat this up maybe no more than a minute. You don't want to heat it too much because you don't want this to overcook. Maybe 20 seconds or something. And then what we're going to do is after we pour this onto the ham, it's going to be about 5 minutes, then we can slice up and get ready to enjoy. So I'm getting ready to check this right now, see how we're looking. Like I said, you don't want to overcook, you don't want to overheat it. Otherwise you're going to make a big mess in the microwave. Alright, give it another second. I think we can go ahead and get this baby put on. Alright. Go ahead. this. Alright, what I'm going to do now is we're going to let this sit for 5 minutes. And then in just a few minutes we're going to find out how we did on our ham. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for the final test. Okay folks, everything is ready for Easter dinner in our household as we're having a virtual Easter dinner because of the virus. We're going to go ahead and try our ham and let you know how that turned out to be. Yes, it looks really good. Let's get a little bit. We need a little bit. Let's try some ham. Let's get some potato casserole. We could always use a spoon for it.
I love strawberry. I want to get it out.
So let's give it a shot.
Almost. That was number 1, 2, 3, 4.
Alright folks, so let's see how we did on our ham.
Okay, I'm throwing the strawberries away.
Alright, I hear you, baby.
Daddy, they're all gone.
Let's try our ham. Mmm, very tender.
When I grow
Let's try the potato casserole.
Mommy, when I grow, I pull it up.
Alright folks, that's Easter dinner right there.
Not me.
So, again, happy Easter to all of you. And if you want any of these, let me know. This has been 313 Grill. Have a good evening, enjoy your week, and God bless. Well, happy Easter, friends.